Hey folks, this is Amar Sheth at Sales for Life, and welcome to another edition of the Social Tool Series. Super excited to have you here with me today because I've got my friend Jeff Russo from HubSpot. Jeff, how are you?
Good. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing great. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here. So, Jeff is the product marketing manager at HubSpot. Really, he's the chief domination officer at HubSpot. And I'm super happy. Now, HubSpot is in a really cool place. Some of you folks in sales may not know this company because you're not exposed to it, but your marketing team certainly is. In fact, there's a category called marketing automation, and all the marketers will laugh at me for even being this specific. So sorry, Jeff. But to all the salespeople, these are platforms that marketers love. And of the three or four or five big players out there doing this, and full disclosure, we're HubSpot users. So we are absolutely biased to what these guys do. We eat, sleep, and breathe it. And I want you to get a full taste of what's possible. Now, what Jeff's going to do specifically is not talk about the marketing side. He's going to talk about the sales side. So HubSpot is making a huge play on getting into the sales side of things, sales acceleration technology, as us geeks fondly call it. So, Jeff, without further ado, I turn the floor over to you and super happy you can be with us today.
Yeah, no, really, really excited to be here. Excited for the opportunity. To give you a little bit of background and to kind of build on what you talked about, Amar, we've been around since 2007. We've been in the marketing space up until about 2 years ago when we introduced our first sales product. And we've really been growing that product. It was originally called Signals, if some folks have heard of it. It's a browser extension that works with Chrome, works with your inbox, kind of fits between your inbox and your CRM system.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get a look at that in a couple of minutes. But we've been growing that product for the past couple of years. And just this past September, we introduced HubSpot CRM, which is a free CRM system. It works very nicely with our marketing product, but you don't need to use it with the marketing product. And as of just a couple of weeks ago, anybody can go and sign up and start using the CRM product for free. So we'll talk a little bit about that today as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so jumping into things, I'm actually over in the marketing product right now, but I'm going to go ahead and jump over to sales, and I have a window open right here. We'll kick things off here on the dashboard in the sales tools. So we're starting off in HubSpot CRM. Like I mentioned, this is a relatively new set of tools for us. We really, on the marketing side, have heard from customers for years now that a lot of them we have a lot of smaller customers who had actually been using HubSpot as sort of a de facto CRM system because they didn't feel like they needed the full weight of a more comprehensive CRM. So we had a ton of demand from customers who would say to us, add these couple more features and I can use this as my CRM system would be most of what I would need. So we decided to do them one better and actually build out a full CRM system in the platform this past year. And that's sort of what we're looking at right now. And I can take a couple of minutes to step through some of the features of the CRM. It's a lot of things that you'd probably expect if you're familiar with a lot of other CRM systems. So we have a way to store contacts, for instance, in the system. So all my contacts are in here. It syncs. It's actually always in sync with the marketing product. So as you generate leads, as you're doing things out on the marketing side, those are ending up in the CRM system pretty much instantaneously. We're building records for all of those contacts in the system. We're giving you a way to communicate with those prospects right here from those records. So I could write notes on a contact. I can send emails from the tool, do all of those things that you'd expect in a CRM like I talked a little bit about.
Yeah, Jeff, that's really smart. I like the fact that you don't have to leave the window. So it's super efficient, it's productive, and you've got all of the key information. If I can ask you for a favor, Jeff, go back to the second tab on your browser or where you
Yeah.
initially started. Yeah, right here. I love this recent activity feature. It's so sharp. I love the fact that, as a manager looking into this, they can get probably a consolidated view and just see just a list of things and the buzz and the activity happening in an account. I think that's really, really cool that you guys have that.
Yeah, that was really one of sort of the guiding principles when we set out to build this was to make it really dead simple to use and to make it a little bit more of a pleasant experience. And I think, honestly, some CRM systems
Yeah.
are. Wanted to make it really accessible for managers and really a little bit more of a pleasure for reps to use day to day. So yeah, this is a great place for a manager to get a sense of kind of what their team's progress is month to date, or for an individual rep to kind of stack up their pipeline, see how things are looking.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, so the dashboard, pretty much all the basic metrics that you'd expect to see in a place like this. Uh, Popping back over to the contact record. So really, really easy, like we talked about, to communicate with a prospect from here. You can send emails, you can log activities, you can even schedule a meeting. So if you use Google Apps or if you use Gmail, you can actually integrate with your Google Calendar from here. You could send an invite right from the CRM system as well. So really easy to communicate with folks, but one of the cool things is as you're going through your day, as you're maybe communicating with prospects, as those prospects are also doing things themselves, maybe visiting your website,
Yeah.
clicking on some of the links and emails you've sent them, all of that information gets rolled up here in the timeline as well. So you can see a few examples of things. This contact who actually works here at HubSpot, but he's a good example. Andy has visited a couple of pages on our website pretty recently. There was a call that was made. I can actually place a call from up here in the CRM system as well.
So you guys have an auto dialer or a dialer built into the app?
Yeah, so I can give you a look at exactly how that works. I'll pop over to my record here. So if I wanted to, I could actually, I have the phone number stored for this contact. If I have the phone number with one click, I'm not going to click, I don't want to ring my cell phone, but I can actually dial someone and just connect through voice over IP and talk to them much like you and I are talking, or use a headset.
It's brilliant. I had no idea you guys could do this. Really, really sharp.
Yeah, so this is relatively new. This is one of just a couple of features within the CRM system that are actually part of a paid set of tools that we'll be offering, because we do incur some costs around calling. But everything else you've seen up until this point can also be used by anyone for free. So, if I were to give myself a call, it gets logged optionally with a recording right to the timeline. So really trying to build out sort of that full history of interactions between a contact and my brand. And you can see all the other types of things that we record here. If there are any recent tweets from this contact, they'll show up here. If they view videos on my website, it's really designed to be pretty comprehensive.
Really sharp. What is life cycle changes? I'm guessing that's when you would alert someone or track when they move from one stage of the funnel to the other. Is that it? Or
Yeah, so that brings up a good point. If you're using the CRM and you're also using HubSpot's marketing product, this is a great example of a place where there's a lot of deep points of integration between those two tools. So over on the marketing side, it's possible to set up basically some triggers that categorize people based on where they are in your sort of customer lifecycle, right?
mm-hmm.
Are they early stage lead? Are they maybe an opportunity or at some stage of the sales process? Are they an existing customer? And that's basically what that is. I could drill down and see, when did this person first convert as a lead? How old are they as a lead? Or when did they convert as a marketing qualified lead? Or when did they become sales qualified? That's what lifecycle stage is there.
Very neat. Very, very neat. I like it. So everything up till the calling feature so far is in the free version of your HubSpot CRM.
Yeah, exactly. So all the ability to store contacts, store company records, track deals, give you a quick look at that, and track tasks in the CRM, all of that stuff is free. And like I said, anybody can sign up at HubSpot.com and get themselves a free CRM if they want to give it a try. So far what we've covered, the only thing that's a paid feature is the calling. There are a few more paid features that we're going to be rolling out that we're pretty excited about in the next couple of months. And basically, if folks want to get a look at what those are, they're actually sort of scattered throughout the CRM system, and we give you little tastes of them. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, if you get started with the CRM, you get 60 minutes of calling to try. There's a few other examples of things like that in the product as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
One thing that is probably also worth touching on, when we were in the early stages of building the CRM system, something that we heard repeatedly from folks who already used other solutions was, having to constantly keep a tab open with the CRM or to go back there and log interactions or review contact records was kind of an interruption to their workflow. So I think you might be familiar with this tool, Amar. I talked about it a little bit a couple of minutes ago. It's called Sidekick.
Yeah.
Like I said, we originally launched this back in 2013. It was called Signals at the time, but really the goal of Sidekick is it connects to HubSpot CRM. If you happen to use Salesforce, you can connect it to Salesforce as well. We have a lot of Salesforce customers. It brings some useful details and some useful features of your CRM system to your inbox. And I'm showing you it here in my inbox in Google Apps, but it works with Gmail. It works with most of the features work with Outlook for Windows as well. We're expanding to some other platforms as well. So just to give you a little bit of a sense of how this is useful, if I'm maybe going to send a prospect an email, or if I'm maybe reaching out to a prospect who I'm working with, my templates from the CRM system are pretty readily available here. So I could drop a personalized template right into the window here. If I wanted to send a deck or a piece of content that I have stored in the CRM system, I can do that from here as well. And when I send my messages, they're all logged over to the CRM system automatically. So the real goal is saving sales folks time from having to jump back and forth between their inbox and their CRM system, and giving them some useful features and sort of putting them very closely accessible in a place where they're working day to day.
Really, really sharp. And I love I love the sidebar. Now the sidebar, there are tools that offer this, but what I love about your Sidekick tool, Jeff, is the tweets, right? Like you get that full-blown social interaction right there, and you can engage. You can do something with that information. So instead of just sending an email, you can actually engage with the person. So that's really, really slick. I like that.
Yeah, we're really trying to make the sidebar just a useful way to get little tidbits of context that you can weave into an email while you're writing it. So as you mentioned, there's tweets here. If I had any recent emails with this person, those would show up here in the timeline as well, along with whether or not they opened or clicked on those messages. So just little bits, like I said, of context that I can sort of use to better inform the message that I'm writing.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're going to get to this, but I'm going to, give a spoiler alert here. Sidekick, you can actually choose to track an email in Sidekick so that when you send it out and someone opens it, you can get an alert. So this is really, really useful. And what I found myself doing very recently is I'm going back to my pipeline from a year ago, a year and a half ago, and I'm going out proactively sending emails to people, trying to get back on their radar, etc. And I can see very quickly when they're actually reading those emails. I can see if they're sharing it. I can see if other people in the organization are reading it. So it's really, really cool that way.
Yeah, that's a great example of how a lot of folks use it. Yeah, so if I were sending this email to a prospect, I can track it with Sidekick just by checking a checkbox, and I'll get a notification when it gets opened. There's a bunch of other, looks like we have a little error there, but there's a bunch of other basically productivity features that are woven into Sidekick. What I was trying to show you is you can actually also schedule messages to go out at a specific day and time in the future. So if I'm working across time zones with somebody maybe on the West Coast, and I want to make sure that my email is right at the top of their inbox when they get in the morning, you can do that with the scheduling feature as well.
And you can also, as salespeople would love to hear, you could also schedule a nurture mini drip campaign. So if I just had a prospect meeting today and I wanted to follow up a week from now, and then 4 days after that, and 3 days after that, I can actually set that up here, and just Sidekick will schedule everything out for me. So I think that is a brilliant feature that you guys have.
Yeah, so there's also a lot of ways to do that on the marketing side, right? If I wanted to build out a full-blown lead nurturing campaign, I could do it there, but I could also use the scheduling feature to do something similar in a little bit more of a simplistic way over here.
Yeah, and I think for salespeople, that's really sharp. I definitely agree. Jeff, can I ask you to click on, I don't know if you're allowed to show this, but click on Sidekick. I want people to see the notifications that they can receive as well, right? So let me talk about my example and how I use it as you're opening that up. So as Jeff is opening it up, guys, think about this. You're working, you're prospecting during a block time or whatever it is, and you turn your notifications on. And you're able to see in real time when people that are your leads, your clients are coming to your website, reading content, checking out your blog, checking out a white paper, whatever. This is incredible. And I was telling Jeff before this interview started, the best way I can describe using this is just this week alone, based on Sidekick, I was able to set up 2 sales calls. Because as soon as people are hitting the website, reading a blog, or doing anything like that, I'm not Big Brother. I don't call them on the spot, but I wait a little while and I'm like, hey, just wanted to follow up. It's been a while, or I haven't reached out to you. We haven't chatted yet, except maybe we can chat, etc. So there's a lot of different practices that you can use there, but a tool like this can literally skyrocket your sales results. If you're doing 10 business appointments, 20 business appointments a month, I think Sidekick can help you do like double if you're working that system well.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And I think you touched on something. We talk about it, trying to remember who first came up with this, but as sort of being like a serendipitous moment, right?
Yeah.
You know, because you're getting a notification that someone's reading your email, that you're front of mind for them. You might not pick up a call and tell them that you saw that, but it's a perfect time and it's a perfect way to initiate a conversation when you know that you're at least, you're in front of mind for them. So
Yeah,
that's
it is very serendipitous, and in fact, I love this term I'm going to use, and I think I'm going to write a blog on it called scientific serendipity.
that's cool. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that is a big piece of it, right? It's just it's all about timing, and I think that the notifications, basically it's less of you going and looking on a day-to-day basis of who is the next right person for me to kind of follow up with. In some cases, you're obviously going to be doing that, but this is surfacing to you folks who are already interested at that moment in time, right?
exactly.
If they are reading a message or if they're popping up on your website, and get notifications for all sorts of things like that. And we're working on more ways to kind of bring that context to folks just as they're going about their day-to-day.
So InsideSales.com has done extensive studies on this subject where they've seen that if you're calling someone that just filled out a lead form on your website within the first minute versus the first 10 minutes versus the first hour, day, the more you wait, the more there's a decline in interest. Because if you think about it, psychologically, that person is so connected to you. They're so interested in what you have to say because they've just spent time on your website. So, as a sales leader, you might be a sales leader or a sales professional watching this. It's so incredibly neat to just connect with these people because you're already on top of mind. If you sell, heating and air conditioning systems and someone's on your website reading one of your books, an ebook or a blog on it, call them up, make the appointment. It's that simple, I think.
Yeah, yeah. To your point, I think it's an easy way to meet people on their terms, right? When they have you in front of mind, when it's what they want to be thinking about. And we talked about the email use case. I think you mentioned this as well. I could also get notifications if a prospect or a lead who's assigned to me pops up on my website. So a bunch of little different ways that we can feed you those kind of moments so that you can take action when things are fresh.
Absolutely. To the sales leaders watching this, I would encourage you, think about HubSpot. It's a really neat tool. It may not be for everybody, but I think I wanted to have Jeff on because just for the Sidekick piece alone, it's massive. Like that is money in the bank that you're leaving on the table right now. Jeff, any parting words, any last minute tips or tricks to share with the audience?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk to folks. And, as I said before, CRM is free. It's going to be free forever for folks to try and use. So if you don't have a CRM system, give it a try, kick the tires at HubSpot.com/sales, see if you like it. We're really pouring a lot of time and effort into making it a pleasant to use CRM system that really helps folks' businesses grow. And Sidekick is free as well. for up to 200 of those notifications a month. So
Hmm.
if you're diligent about tracking the messages you care about, you can get a lot of value out of the Sidekick product for free as well.
Awesome. Jeff, really want to thank you for your time. I think our audience is going to get great value from this demo. And let's touch base real soon. I'd like to see and hear more about updates from you folks. Thanks again for your time. And for everyone else, have a great day. This is Amar Sheth at Sales for Life. Take care.
Thanks, Amar.